I'm extremely proud to know these two young journalists who are doing a very, very impressive job with independent media. And since I come from the world of media myself, along with activism and law, I think it gives me great pride that young people are doing such a wonderful job. Friends, we are at a very important juncture in our country's history today, 2024. And I'd like to personally, from outside Tamil Nadu, though I've always identified greatly with the South, greatly with the Dravidian movement. My great-grandfather was a close associate of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. I just want to say that the role played by the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu in understanding the danger of fascist forces and stitching the India Alliance and being committed to it, despite the Dravidian movement's honorable stance on language and the culture of Tamil Nadu, is hugely, hugely admirable. It shows that you can marry the national with the regional while not losing your sense of regional identity, independence and pride when you realize there's a threat that is bigger than all of us. And I think the threat that the proto-fascist RSS and BJP represents is not just the threat of brute hate politics and communalism, which is obvious, but it is also anti-democratic at its very core, and it's also against people's development and the development of all people. It's a shame that in the last decade, our country has seen the 10 most richest Indians' wealth soar above, and 30% of Indians are in such a pathetic socio-economic condition. Can India, the world's largest democracy, afford this kind of growth, absence of growth, iniquitous growth, undignified growth? I appeal, therefore, to not just the leaders of the India Alliance in the north, but also to the leadership here, to continue to play that vanguard role. Because today, yes, we are relieved. We are relieved that the elections did not give them a brute majority. But sir, some of us are also convinced that it was a stolen election. That however they are sitting in power with 240 seats, it's not a genuine victory. And we urge you to look at that issue. I'll be presenting you at the end of my speech with this report, the Vote for Democracy report, which Sri Parakala Prabhakar has already spoken about in Chennai. But before that, I just want to remind this august audience, because I'll just take a few minutes, I know many, many speakers are coming, that let's not forget, even if one leaves aside 2014, let's not forget the 2019 elections were also won through complete abdication by the Election Commission of India. There was unequal money, the kind of money that the Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS had, the kind of hate speech that was generated. Let's not forget that electoral bonds were allowed by the Election Commission, despite previous Election Commissions saying that they are anti-constitutional. We have CEC Qureshi, we have Mr. Ashok Lavasa, previous Election Commissioners saying they were against the electoral bonds. And yet, right up to 2024 February, electoral bonds benefited the ruling party. So money, muscle, and institutional subjugation is how the BJP has come to power in 2019. And even in 2024, I would like to urge that the refusal of the Election Commission to divulge the actual figures of every phase of election to date is very, very fishy and mysterious. Human Rights Watch has said that 110 hate speeches were delivered by the Prime Minister. 110. And there's not a single action by the Election Commission. Finally, I believe the greatest threat today is to the federalism that this constitution represents. Concurrent list, state list, and central list. There are different subjects. But just look at how law and order is abused through central agencies. Honorable ministers of this government have suffered. Honorable ministers of the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi in Maharashtra have suffered. Opposition leaders across the country have suffered because of the misuse of the central agencies by the PMO and the Home Minister. Therefore, I'd like to urge, as a human rights activist, as a journalist and an academic, I'd like to urge the opposition to play as active a role today as it does during elections, and to keep a rights-based approach, a human rights-based approach, when we see atrocities happening by the central government and in the BJP ruled states. We have many, many issues before us. I thank you for giving me this opportunity. But the greatest threat to Indian democracy today is the assault by the center on federalism, financial, economic, social, language terrorism, I would call it. The imposition of the Hindi language is against the constitution. And I think most importantly, whether it's the GST tax or so many taxes, Tamil Nadu has been raising a voice, Karnataka has been raising a voice, Kerala has been raising a voice, the misuse of the governor's position, which is a constitutional position. All these are very, very crucial issues. But beyond that and above that is the institutional autonomy of the Election Commission and the judiciary that the opposition needs to speak about. And I urge that this leadership of the DMK, Mr. Udayanidhi Stalin, who has inspired us, continues to play a vanguard role in the India opposition and speak up even when the general elections are over. Because let's not forget, Jammu and Kashmir elections are coming up. And I still recall that among the brave state leaders who spoke against the abrogation of 370 was Mr. Stalin, the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. We have been looking at this. We have been watching it. How many state chief ministers have the courage to stand up on pure constitutional issues? Just because it's GNK, many people keep quiet. But it's a question of principle. It's a question of federal autonomy. It's a question of constitutionalism. And therefore, I really would like to urge hope from the south of the country, that we get the leadership even after election time from the DMK to push the India Alliance to take principled stands. Thank you very, very much for having me here. I do not want to take more time because I'm very keen to hear the other speakers. And I congratulate you on the release of this book. And I told myself this afternoon that I have to learn the Tamil language. Thank you, thank you.